Prepare yourself for Earthling Entertainment, the perfect blend of paranormal and pop culture, with your host, Joe Wakefield and Ryan Lang.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Earthling Entertainment with Joe Wakefield and Ryan Lang.
Hey, I'm your host who's harboring a secret race of intelligent beings grown from mold he found under his bed, Joe Wakefield.
And I'm not messing with any of that stuff. I'm Ryan Lang.
I'm not sure if that was an actual Twilight Zone episode or if that was just the Simpsons Halloween episode with Lisa Simpson and the Tooth.
That sounds about right.
You're right? Yeah, so which one was it? Because isn't the Simpsons episode parroting something else?
Oh, goodness. I'm the worst to ask when it comes to Simpsons.
Fair enough. Well, guys, if you're joining us again, thanks. Thank you for being a returning listener.
Welcome back.
Please remember to download the episode. It is the best way to support the show. And if you're new to this show, you might be asking, what is it you guys do? Like, what is this podcast all about?
How's it going?
Well, we'll tell you what it's all about. Well, we do a little bit of the spooky, a little bit of the creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's cryptozoology. Other times it's a haunting, a myth, a legend, but it's always spooky. And that is, of course, in our spooky stuff section. That is followed by another segment called Disclosure Discussion. That one's all about aliens.
I'm just asking questions about UFO videos, pictures, news stories, abduction stories. Today, we have actually some interesting old plans in case of an alien invasion that was actually drummed up by our own government. That was back in the 50s. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, kind of like a what would you do if you saw a flying saucer in your front lawn? Well,
when little green men arrive.
That's right. Then the second half of the show, the latter half, if you will, is all dedicated to pop culture and entertainment. Sometimes we have celebrity guests. Other times we do trivia games. We have audio dramas occasionally. We always have some kind of headlines, movie news, music news, video game news. It's all pop culture all the time. And those two things together, the beginning part of the show, which is the spooky, and the second part of the show, which is the pop culture, come together in a beautiful moon pie of a podcast known as Earthling Entertainment. Welcome to the show.
I'm excited for today. It's been an exciting weekend, I think, for everybody. It was Super Bowl.
Yeah. I don't give a crap at all, but other people seem to like those games where they throw balls around and
it's funny.
Sports.
Well, everyone seems to be sick of the Chiefs, and it was them versus the Eagles, and not everybody's even that big an Eagles fan, but everyone was rooting for them, and they won. And so that was great. But I mean, the commercials, though, were pretty funny. There were some pretty good ones.
The commercials are always very good.
My favorite was probably the promotion for the new Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, where Stitch comes out at the halftime show and starts messing stuff up and running around the field.
He's like, oh, they really can't catch this thing. He's like, oh, evidently he is now driving a cart.
That was fun. I have to tell you, the seal as a seal really got me.
That was good.
It makes me wonder what took us so long to do that, Ryan. Like, was that connection has been made for years. No one is new to that. So maybe a Photoshop picture or something exists, but why did it take so long to get a live action seal as a seal? I think maybe because he wouldn't go for it. Like, he was like, no, I'm not going to do that in my young career. But now he's getting older and he's like, make some money, and it's kind of funny.
One thing I thought was really weird was two commercials were almost exactly the same, but two completely different companies. Pringles had a commercial where it was like Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec, and he's got that famous big mustache. And it's like him with two other famous people with mustaches, and they eat the Pringle, and their mustache flies off and causes a bunch of chaos, right? Like scaring people and stuff flying around.
Yeah.
Little Caesars
they had
did
a mustache
one for the eyebrows of what's his name, the famous actor. He was the Frenchman in Almost Heroes. He was the dad in American Pie.
Eugene Levy.
Yes. So he takes a bite out of like the little mini deep dish little things from Little Caesars, and his eyebrows fly off, which are famous, and they, create chaos, go around scaring people. And I just found that so weird. I'm like, are those like
the same thing?
They did like the same thing. But I do have to say, one thing I can't help but notice is I think it worked more in the favor of Pringles because the Pringles guy has a big mustache.
Yes, but
So that made sense.
Eugene Levy having the big eyebrows is very, very common as well.
but the Little Caesars guy does not have eyebrows.
Oh, the cartoon guy.
Yes, so I'm just saying that it
so
doesn't.
it's more relevant that the Pringles guy, the mascot, has
have
a
to-
mustache.
Awards given to House Pringles, in my opinion. I felt like it was more relevant for the product.
Fair enough. Okay, so Pringles wins that war, and then I have the question: is I hope it was the same advertising company, right? And it's just this one guy who's coasting on the same idea, but no one's called him out on it yet.
And he's just leaning back. I'm gonna go on break.
Yeah.
Like-
A mustache flies around the room. We already gave that one Pringles. Well, fuck you. We use
Just like-
eyebrows
yeah,
then.
Yeah, use some fucking eyebrows.
Yeah, that's
Whatever.
fine.
I'm going on break.
It's
Anyway.
the same joke. Don't worry about it. I'm the nephew of the guy who owns this place.
And then we had a couple beer commercials, but just nothing. I don't know. Call me old, but you can't get better than like the Budweiser frogs and like
What, the
with-
Budweiser?
yeah.
That was
and,
because you were a kid and it was a talking frog.
and remember the penguins. Remember, enjoy Bud Light and watch out for the penguins. Like the penguins would always like sneak in and like cause some shit.
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
I remember that
I
one.
don't know. For me, it was always movie previews and like trailers because that was always the big thing that I waited for, being a cinephile. And we got to see a little
Yeah.
bit about the new Jurassic Park. Did you see any of
Yeah.
that?
I did see that, but I don't know if that was during the Super Bowl though. Like the
They released one early, but they had a Super Bowl exclusive one.
ooh no, then I must have missed it. I'll have to look that one up. But I mean, from what I see, it looks good. I mean, I love
I'm
Scarlett
excited.
Johansson, so
It's
Scarlett and
dinosaurs eating
dinosaurs.
people, man. Like, what
Right.
more do you want? And the thing is, the Jurassic Park movies, they kind of distinguish themselves between two trilogies with the original one, Jurassic Park, and the new one, Jurassic World. This one is now called Jurassic World Rebirth. Excuse me. Don't you think that's a missed opportunity to have renamed it and to differentiate yourself more from the from the last trilogy? Because if you're not,
I agree.
you should have been like Jurassic Planet,
That's literally what yeah.
Jurassic Island.
I was saying the same thing where like honestly at first I thought they were just gonna start over and just call it Jurassic Park and maybe give it a different hyphen or whatever. But yeah, that was my next thing. I'm like, I don't get it because we got a Jurassic Park trilogy, we got a Jurassic World trilogy, and then they called it Jurassic World. I agree. I felt like it was really lost to become, like you said, you could literally go a whole new direction with it. Like
Well, I mean, it seems like they are going in a whole new direction with it. It just seems like to distinguish itself from the other series, you should have changed the name because they did say that this was going to be that, if all goes well. If it flops horribly, they won't do it. But they're saying it'll be another trilogy. And it's
Yeah.
got the original writer of the first two movies, and they used a sequence that's in the book, but cut out of the first Jurassic Park film. That has been put and rewritten to be in the story of this new Jurassic Park. So there are a lot of things from the original. I don't know, but I still want that shaving cream can from the first
Yeah.
movie to show back up in one of these sequels.
I always found it so weird because it was shaving cream and he puts it on the pie. I
Well-
don't know why that bothers me so much, but it's
I think we
always
talked about this
we
before.
have it. It still bothers me.
Well, what are you gonna do, man?
I thought it was whipped cream for the longest time because he put it on a pie, and then I look and I'm like, that's
It's shaving
shaving. It's fucking shaving cream.
The
What-
point is he put shaving cream on his hand and he had to get rid of it, Ryan. And he chose the pie, maybe to be cheeky because he was making Dachshund.
Yeah.
We got Dachshund here. He was making him pay for the bill, remember?
That's true.
So he's just kind of an ass.
he was totally an ass, and yeah,
The character from Jurassic Park who turned off all the power and got everyone killed, if anyone's wondering.
and I heard the stick stupid. No
Yep.
wonder you're extinct.
yeah,
But I
that's
just
a good film.
I heard in the book he got it much worse.
Oh, he probably did.
That's
did,
what I
Did
heard.
you see any of the other trailers?
No, honestly, I saw just weird products. Honestly, a lot of the commercials were weird, but like the good ones were good. You know what I mean? I'm a Coors Light fan. Cheers. There was a good Coors Light commercial.
There's always a good Coors Light commercial.
I mean, come on. The mountains are blue. The mountains are blue.
The mountains are blue. Yeah, I guess that's it. It was a good Super Bowl. I am happy that Philadelphia won, and that's simply because there's this movie called, I think it's like Invincible, and it stars Mark Wahlberg, and he's like a normal guy who's like a Bostonian or Philadelphian or whatever the fuck. probably Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And and he becomes an eagle, and it's based on a true story. And I just like that movie, so I was like, Eagles. It'd be like anytime I see a game where Notre Dame is playing, I'm always like, Rudy. Rudy. But
Sam Wise. Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. It's just funny
Wrong
because the only point I was trying to make is since I'm such not a sports guy that when I root for sports teams, it's based on movies.
On a movie. Yes. Yeah. Remember the Titans. Okay. That's
the
right.
Titans are the best high school football team ever.
Oy,
Okay.
Yeah, that's it, man. Because they're too strong. Too strong.
Speaking of too strong, did you know our cryptid, our spooky stuff this week is another cryptid, and it is a cryptid that maybe the gods made too strong.
Too strong.
So
That's
sit
a great
back.
segment.
I
Look
thought
at
so.
that.
Yeah. So sit back and enjoy this week's spooky stuff.
The Grootslang. The Grootslang, or the Grootslang, Afrikaans and Dutch for big snake, is a legendary cryptid that is reputed to dwell in a deep cave in Richardsveld, South Africa. According to legend, the Grootslang is a primordial creature as old as the world itself.
That's pretty old. Can't really get older than that as far as terrestrial beings are concerned.
I was going to say, as far as we can tell.
Yeah.
Tales state that the gods, new to the crafting of things, made a terrible mistake in the Grootslang's creation and gave it tremendous strength, cunning, and intellect.
Oh, we just made that damn snake too damn smart. That's what we did wrong. The elephant head wasn't an issue. It was the strength.
That's your problem right there.
Fix it with some duct tape.
Over time, the Grootslang has accumulated elephantine features. This stems partly from the cryptozoological desire to connect it to the Mokele Membi and other such surviving dinosaurs, and partly from Rose's description of it as huge, like an elephant with the tail of a serpent.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
terrifying.
It is terrifying, but all the images that I looked up when we were talking about this cryptid are pretty much a snake with an elephant head.
Yeah.
Like that seems to be the most common description. Other things are like a snake creature with elephant like aspects to it. Like one was like a really long, like hot dog looking like elephant with like a long tail.
Mhm.
So the only thing that we can really determine here is it's some amalgamation of elephant snake.
Right. I mean, and I don't know why, but to me, it kind of tracks. How many times have we heard, with the Egyptians and stuff like that, they've got all the hybrid animals with humans and all these different kind of animals that seem to be spliced together, and shit
Absolutely.
like that.
Yeah. I was
So-
always a proponent that alien visitors actually did genetic experiments with
Yes.
alien. I mean, there was a lot of speculation on that in a few ancient alien books that
Mhm.
pretty much said, hey, they made us by putting their DNA and monkey DNA to make
Yep.
humans. And then along the way, they were figuring other stuff out for helpful beasts
Like, what if
or
we
whatever.
mix these two?
Exactly.
Yeah,
And elephant snake.
And how many times have we heard of perhaps aliens being referred to as gods?
Bum,
So-
bum, bum.
Realizing their mistake, the gods split the Grootslang into separate creatures and thus created the first elephants and the first snakes. But-
Ooh, that is really interesting.
It's
So
the
according-
origin story.
Yeah, so according to that, though, think about it. What if we do put that in terms of these gods being aliens? In
Yeah.
that situation, they had a bunch of different creature DNA and created this hybrid creature. And then, so that would make kind of like elephants and snakes just in general.
Aliens.
Well, just amalgamations of other DNA,
Mhm.
right? It's kind of like how humans made oranges. Like we just
Yeah.
kept breeding like lemons until we found them to be sweet enough and change color, and we created oranges. We created species of dogs. So,
All
so-
dogs. Yeah.
huh? Oh, that's crazy. Well, whether it was gods just doing their craftiness and making a snake too damn strong, or aliens with their experiments. Either way, yeah, there's a fun origin story for the elephant and the snake. Yeah,
I love this. So
but unfortunately, they didn't do it to all of them, right?
I was gonna say, but one of the original Grootslangs escaped.
Son of a bitch.
And from this first sire, all other Grootslangs were born.
That's why you don't make things that reproduce asexually.
Life finds a way.
Finds a way.
Ah, Jurassic Park reference. These offspring of the Grootslang can reach lengths of up to 60 feet, bearing the fusion of an elephant's head and trunk harmoniously entwined with a serpent's body and tail. Their scales, mirroring the hues of green, brown, or black, reflect the creature's mood or surroundings. While some, the renditions of the legend embellish them with diamonds adorning their eye sockets or horns.
That's kind of cool. So, like a little bit like a dragon lore, because like dragons always laid on their pile of gold, and they got the gold and jewels embedded into their scales.
You're hitting the nail on the head. Because honestly, like this was very Smaug like.
Yeah.
That was a Hobbit reference of the dragon in Smaug.
Smaug.
In the Hobbit. Sorry, Smaug.
What an unexpected journey, Ryan.
There and back again. It is claimed these creatures devour elephants by luring them into its cave. So it's like, I'm just a normal elephant.
Hey guys, you want to go hang out in this cave? I don't know, Carl. You seem a little weird.
There's so many bananas in here. There's all the fruit. Like, come on, go to Candy Mountains.
Let's hang out in the cave. Yay!
Yay! Oh, God, they took my organs again. That was an old internet reference. I am not old. The cave is known as the Wonder Hole. Yeah. Or... Don't go into the Wonder Hole.
You know what's funny is because excuse me. You know what's funny is that's a translation, right? Because this is a
Yes.
South African thing. So in English, it translates to Wonder
Glory Hole.
Yeah, Wonder Hole. Exactly.
We might as well just call it the
It
Glory Hole.
probably sounds a lot cooler in the native language.
So it's known as
we got an elephant like, hey, you want to come in my Wonder Hole? Come on into my Wonder Hole, you other elephants.
Oh, I wonder what's in a Wonder Hole.
My God.
That's right.
I just imagine the creepiest fucking person. Hey, want to come to my Wonder Hole? I'm going to skin you and wear it like Sounds of the Lambs. I got lotion in here.
That doesn't sound good.
No, it's fine, elephants.
It really doesn't sound that fine. I like my skin, dude. So,
My God.
the cave is known, we're going to try this our best, as the Wonder Hole or the Bottomless Pit.
See, that's less. You should just went with Bottomless Pit. For marketing reasons.
It sounds better. Supposedly, it connects to the sea, which is 40 miles away. According to local legend, the cave is filled with diamonds. It is also said to live in warm rivers and lakes. In Benin, it is said to be a huge elephant-like creature with a serpent's tail. Sometimes it is depicted as a snake with orange gems for eyes. Also, according to the tale, Grootslangs covet gems, particularly diamonds, and despite the creature's lust for cruelty, victims can often bargain for their freedom by offering a Grootslang enough precious gems.
So the question is this like an intelligent creature where you could actually talk to and have a conversation with, or is this just like a giant crow where it's like, I like shiny things. You give me a shiny thing and I'll like pay attention to that and you can get away.
I feel like it's kind of it's almost like an implied thing, right? Because there's never anything about it talking or anything. So I'm guessing it's just kind of staring you down, and you're like,
you just lay down some
you're just like,
jewels and
I
just
got
kind of
this-
inch away.
I have this ruby.
Like, look at this big rock, man. Isn't it sweet? How about you don't kill me? And because it has so many different descriptions of different blends between the elephant and a snake, I was thinking of it, maybe it is like a bit like dogs. You know how we have just so many different versions of dogs?
Yeah.
Well, it all came from the same creature. Maybe they just are a bunch of different amalgamations of the elephant snake.
I was gonna say maybe because we see, the cobra's got a hood, right? So what if this was just like a weird giant kind of cobra, and the hood kind of looked like elephant ears?
Well, the hood could look like elephant ears
Right.
if it connected to the head, like in a skinnier than the rest of it.
And then what if? And then we see a lot of like the horn nosed snake. There's a lot of snakes that have weird shit on the front of the pit viper and stuff like that. They got weird noses. So what if this was just a weird snake that just had like this weird?
Well, it would still be a giant.
Right.
So it's still a giant snake.
Yeah, it's a giant snake with a hood that looks like elephant ears and just like a weird thing on its snout that's kind of elongated. And everyone's just like, it's an elephant snake, but it was just a weird kind of snake that's
Look,
died
man,
off.
maybe it's a weird kind of snake for you, but I know that the only thing that is in my wonder hole is a full-on elephant snake. All right, that is elephant snake in a wonder hole.
Oh, I wonder.
Oh, that should be the name.
What's in the wonder hole?
Dude, the name of the episode: Elephant Snake in a Wonder Hole.
Yes. So shall it be.
And it's actually referencing the episode, not just being weird. Just saying.
Just saying. Just saying. So, the
Should've went with
cave.
bottomless pit.
The cave of these Grootslangs is sometimes described as instead connecting to the Orange River by a natural pipe through which the diamonds are gradually funneled into the current. The cave projects directly downward for 60 feet until a steep incline, after which secondary passages branch off. The South African journalist and author Lawrence G. Green describes the Wonder Hole as being located 3 miles from the Orange River, near the Anisfontein Spring, and that native folklore describes 2 white men as descending into the cave to retrieve stones that sparkled like fire.
Makes sense. People would go into hey, there's diamonds down there. Well, I'm going down there. There's also a giant elephant snake. How giant?
I believe more in the diamonds.
I think I'm still gonna go down there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ways out. So in the book Where Men Still Dream,
elephant snake in the hole with diamonds.
That's right. Yeah. So in his book Where Men Still Dream, Green speculates that the legend of the Grootslang originated from sightings of native pythons, which can grow 25 feet in length. Additional details of the myth, such as its size in excess of real pythons and diamonds in the creature's eye sockets.
That was your speculation. It was a python with the hood. Yeah.
Yeah. And even the diamonds in its eye sockets were dismissed by Green, this writer, as native exaggeration. So yeah, see what you just said. He believed more in the diamonds than he believed in the Grootslang.
Yeah. Also, native exaggerations is kind of like a jerk way of saying like they're interpreting like a legend, man. Maybe not, be such a judgy jerk about their legends. That's all I'm saying.
Secondary exploration of the cave found only bat guano. That's literally it. That is
Ace Ventura's
like guano bowls. Collect the whole set. So I just thought that was funny because that's documented. That they went in there and they were like, "What'd you find?" And they literally were just like bat shit.
It was crazy, and that's where the term "bat shit crazy" came from.
Yes. So another account describes only one person as entering the Wonder Hole and returning. This was a prospector.
You gotta be careful when you enter the Wonder Hole.
You gotta be careful when the prospector enters your Wonder Hole. He was a
There's a snake in there.
Woo! He used a cable winch to descend into the cave until he reached a ledge. There, he saw tunnels
allegedly.
But so there, what he saw, he saw tunnels leading further in, and he smelled a strong scent of sulfur, which is kind of creepy, right? Sulfur burning is that's like the underworld.
Yeah, people always think of that. Obviously, associate it with hell and stuff.
Yeah. So, but dropped his electric torch when bats flew towards him, and he had to be pulled back up. He did not descend into the cave again. The Grootslang.
Sorry, guys, drop my flashlight.
Yep, I'm
it's
done.
all right, we're good. Couldn't do anymore. Drop my flashlight.
I guess another Ace Ventura. Die, devil bird! I'm okay. So, the Grootslang, typically perceived as a reclusive dweller within the confines of its solitary cavern, introduces a layer of complexity in certain iterations of the myth. These versions entertain the concept of a female counterpart. A female Grootslang whose peril matches that of her male equivalent. Moreover, tales weave narratives of progeny identified as Klein Grootslangs or small great snakes, presenting scaled-down replicas of their formidable parents, yet harboring no diminishment in their lethal potential.
All right. So one legend says no, there was a female, they had kids the normal way. But then there's another legend after that, right?
I believe so. So, yeah, do you want me to just keep going?
Yeah.
All right. So, in contrast to conventional familial structures, the Grootslang adheres to an unconventional method of procreation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
Yes.
so some people believe that it is asexually, and some people believe it reproduces with a partner. So here's
Right.
the asexual one.
Right. The creature eschews conventional mating rituals and sexual reproduction. Instead, it employs a unique mechanism wherein it splits itself into two components,
Much like a worm.
one transforming into an elephant calf or python hatchling, while the other remains in the parental role. Interesting. So she's able to split off one at a time
Yeah.
and stay themselves.
Like a little bit less smart. Much like the North American graboid, I might say.
Yes,
Yes,
just
yes.
like the graboid. These parent Grootslangs nurture their offspring with either milk or venom, contingent on their respective species. The progeny,
It's gonna be
thus,
kind of metal to like we nurse on venom.
that is metal. I'm gonna
All right.
remind me to
Grootslang.
write that down.
Yeah.
The progeny, thus nourished, matures into independent entities capable of either leading solitary lives or integrating into communities of other Grootslangs. This unconventional reproductive process adds a distinctive and enigmatic dimension to the myth of the Grootslang.
Yeah, I think it's a cooler legend to go with the asexual one. The whole splitting off a piece of you and then having that be like, oh, that's just a little kid. You know, they did a similar thing in American Dad. The character of Roger, the alien,
Yeah,
eventually had like a tumor on his head that fell off and became Grogu. Not Grogu, but it's something like that. It might be Grogu.
might be. I don't remember.
Yeah, yeah. What is the Star Wars? Is
Yeah,
that's Grogu?
Grogu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the alien? Is it also Grogu?
It might be.
Oh my god. I'm gonna have to look that up.
I was gonna say we're
Yeah,
gonna have to look that shit
yeah,
up.
yeah, fair enough. But if it is, I'm kind of respecting them for just using the same name. Like, forget you, Star Wars. We're gonna do it ourselves. We're gonna take Grogu back.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah.
Rogu. You were so close.
Rogu. All right, that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay, well, still very similar.
I literally typed in American Dad Rogers Groth's name, and it worked. So, like, not bad.
The age of the internet, people.
Gotta love it. So, anyway, honestly, yeah, I really think this is the first time we've ever done an elephant style cryptid.
There was one that we did early on, and it was a Native American creature, and it was also described as like a giant woolly mammoth type thing.
That's right. I
Yeah.
do remember that.
Maybe it was an
one.
Inuit.
I think
Yeah.
it was. That's right. So, back to the Grootslang, a large pool beneath the King George Cataract at Agrabes Falls, forgive me if I got that wrong, is also said to be a lair of the Grootslang and a source of diamonds. Here, the
It's
creek.
weird that they associate all these Grootslangs with having like diamond caves. Is
Yeah.
it maybe it was a legend that was partially created to be like, hey, stay away from my diamond cave. Why? There's an
Yeah.
elephant snake in there. Fuck you. Stay away
A
from it.
giant elephant snake will fuck you up if you try to take my diamonds.
I'm exactly like maybe that's part of it.
That makes sense. So here, the creature is reputed to be coiled around a great hoard of gold and gems.
That's very dragony.
Yes. According to a version of the story reported among the Bushmen, the Grootslang is older than the world and will protect its treasure for eternity, forever.
No, it's mine. No, you can't take it. That's mine.
What about,
no, that's mine
just-
too.
I'm just going to take this.
No.
How about
No.
You
You
don't-
get
come on,
get
you don't-
nothing.
you
You
don't-
get nothing.
You don't need
You
all
get
these.
nothing.
You don't need
I
all
kill
these.
you.
Fine. Another form of the myth states that the Grootslang is a spirit tasked with guarding its cavern from treasure seekers, and that its presence is marked by an overpowering sense of evil.
Yeah. They did some weird shit to to guard their treasure. One of the ones that I always thought was interesting is they would murder somebody, then throw their body on top of their treasure and then bury their treasure.
I was gonna say that's pirate.
That I don't know, is it pirate or is it
Like,
Viking?
isn't that how that sounds piratey because it's like
Either way,
16
the
men
ghost,
on
the ghost is guarding the treasure.
a dead man's chest or whatever, right? Like, so literally that's what they did. They would, because the captain, after everybody was done
Wait,
burying,
they murder 16 people and throw them out of.
well, yeah, he'd kill the whole crew. That way he would, and then he'd go get a new crew, and that way he was the only one who knew where the treasure was.
Yes, but if you bury 16 bodies on top of a chest, well, those bodies are going to rot, Ryan. And that means it'll have kind of like a dip
Yeah.
in the ground. 16 people is a lot of people. So now you're pretty much making it, pointing out to any other pirates, here is where my treasure is. Check it out. It's at the very big dip in the ground.
Not if you found, Skull Island. It's the island that you can't find unless you've already been there, man.
Was it Skull Island? I
Wasn't
thought that was.
it?
Well, isn't Skull Island where King Kong is on?
I think so too, but I'm pretty sure that was the same thing with the old pirate thing. That's where the 16 men on a dead man's chest. It was at Skull Island.
Apparently, Skull Islands isn't that original. You know what we need? We need a ribcage island.
There you go.
Yeah.
How about a femur?
Ooh, a femur? I like
Femur
that.
Island.
Yeah. Moving on.
In the glamour of prospecting, the South African gold prospector
It's so glamorous.
F.C. Cornell describes the Grootslang as a large snake said to live within a large rock in the middle of the Orange River and to take cattle from the river's banks.
Yoink.
Belief in this creature is described as ubiquitous among the local Koko, described by Cornell as Richtersveld Hottentots, and some white settlers who greatly fear the serpent. While searching for treasure in the Richtersveld of South Africa in 1917, the English businessman Peter Grayson disappeared after members of his party were attacked and injured by lions, prompting rumors that the Grootslang had killed him. So it's like the rest of us got taken out by lions. What happened to him? A giant elephant snake.
He could have just been like, I was a lion too. Be like, nope, not him. Well, we should believe him, right? Because it's too weirdly specific and unnecessary to be
One
a lie.
guy walks up without an arm. That's what happened.
As soon as the lions left, we thought we were in the clear. But then like it's like we survived the shipwreck, but then, I got bit by a crab and I got gangrene. It's like what?
What was it called? It was a Grootslang. Giant elephant crab creature.
You murdered him, didn't you, Jerry?
No. He fell.
Yeah.
He
Where's
fell.
the treasure, Jerry?
He fell and was killed
Elephant
by
snake.
an elephant snake. Elephant snake.
Elephant snake.
Elephant snake. In popular culture. A Grootslang was featured in the Secret Saturdays episode Something in the Water. It is depicted as a four-tusked, green-skinned elephant with ram-like horns and a spiked snake-like tail. The Saturdays had to relocate a Grootslang away from settlements by baiting it with a large piece of pork.
All right. Yeah, fair enough. I'm just. Oh my God, is that Chris Hansen?
No, Chris Hansen.
That was. Groot Snake.
Also, in Winecraft, the Minecraft-based MMORPG features.
Is it really called Winecraft?
Yeah, or Wincraft, maybe WYNN Craft. So maybe Wincraft.
I just kind of thought it was like Minecraft or like Warcraft, like with a bunch of wine. Like that's what it seems like.
Oh, no, I'm assuming it's just a name. It's probably like a different server.
Sure.
So the Minecraft-based MMORPG features Grootslang in the raid nest of the Grootslang. So it's called Nest of the Grootslang. So that's actually kind of cool. So they actually what a tip of the hat to this giant elephant snake creature that we have found.
Well, it makes sense because Grand Theft Auto and everything else has had like Bigfoot in it, right? But if you want to be more original and you want to get a new cryptid, do what we do and find the most obscure one you can. And my God, Ryan found a doozy this week.
No, this one was really cool. I mean, how scary is this? I've never honestly thought about a giant snake with an elephant face. Just something about that just seems so petrifying to me. And the fact that they're the ones guarding the diamonds, and it's like, what if they were created by aliens to guard those diamonds? What? Because we started off with saying
if
that
it
an
was
alien
aliens, it'd be
hybrid,
gold. Wouldn't it be gold?
because that's what they
Yeah,
were
yeah, yeah,
saying
no,
they
no.
needed.
I'm totally down with you about them being alien hybrids, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
technically, wouldn't it be gold if it was the aliens? Because
It
the aliens
would.
wanted us to mine gold. Also, I do like the version of it that is just an elephant with like a sharp snake tail and like snake skin.
I like that too.
And then the other one is like a snake with an elephant head. It's all crazy.
And yeah, it was early on in the report. It was saying that it had to do with a zoological. I forgot what it was called. Yeah, right here, the Mokale Membi and other surviving dinosaurs. So like that sounds more like a dinosaur, like where it's like
A
it's
lizard like
like-
giant elephant with a weird tail.
right. So like a kind of weird mixture between those two. I kind of
It's a little weird to me that there's so many different descriptions of this. Like, wouldn't it make more sense to just be like, oh, they're different species? The one that's an elephant with a snake body is one species, and the one that's the elephant that is snake-like is a different species. But they explain that with no. It's the both. It was a
Right.
blend of the two. I love the whole gods or aliens, as we say.
it has a
Split
legend.
them
Yeah,
apart and
yeah.
rip, like, no. These are too powerful together. So we'll take this, put over there. Now we got elephants. We'll take this, put it over there. Now we got giant snakes.
It's like a fucked up Aesop's fable. Like, because they always explain like how like certain animals were like made and shit like that. So it's like this is like a real fucked up Aesop's fable about how elephants and serpents came to be.
I don't know, man.
Interesting.
Well, the idea of alien creating hybrids is one of the fun things about the alien phenomenon. The one of the theories that I really enjoy, and there's a lot of really interesting alien stuff that comes out from 50, 60, 70 years ago.
Yep.
Now that all of these documents have been released and, confirmation that Area 51 is real. And they even, History Channel even did a Project Blue Book
Mhm.
show that
Yeah.
was a dramatization of the real life cases.
Which is wild, right? That they would do that because that was so top secret at the time.
It was. And we're elaborating a little bit more on the whole time when we were all going UFO crazy on this week's
Disclosure discussion. Ha 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 ha. It's about aliens and stuff.
Secret CIA documents reveal how U.S. prepared to defend against an alien invasion. What? This comes to us from dailymail.com. A resurfaced document suggests the CIA was preparing for a potential alien invasion amid mass sightings across the nation, many of which were in Washington, D.C. I believe we covered that really famous one before.
Absolutely.
A section in the report titled U.S. Official Attitude to UFOs says unexplained sightings were more than 20 times the normal rate in the summer of 1952. Some Air Force members believe they were interplanetary spaceships about to make closer contact, leading to the CIA to persuade the military to use Project Blue Book to manage the situation.
That's right.
So this is for you guys who don't know. Project Blue Book, which ended in 1969, was developed to investigate reports of aerial phenomena and determine if they posed a threat to national security. To prepare the public for the possibility of contact, 41 previously classified reports were released for publication between August 1952 and February of 1953, the document states. The CIA then moved to abandon the investigation in the eyes of the American people, using Project Blue Book as a means of public debunking UFOs. The group attributed most sightings to misidentified natural phenomena like weather balloons, aircraft lights, or atmospheric conditions, and used TV shows and newspapers to spread the word.
Yeah, the most famous was the swamp gas, which was actually from Michigan. Did you know that?
Yeah, he was a Michigan guy, and he was so ridiculed by his colleagues after that he did a full 180. He became actually quite a component for extraterrestrials and UFOs after that because
you have to say who you're talking about.
I don't remember his name.
His name is Dr. Hynek.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so Dr. Hynek was a professor, and he was a civilian, and the government got him to head Project Blue Book. And basically, like Ryan said, throughout his investigations, because he started out as quite a skeptic, he became a believer.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're interested in this, you could do all kinds of research. There's a million things about Hynek, but also there is a 2-season show from the History Channel called Project Blue Book that is very much a show, a dramatization, but it'll give you an idea of the things they were doing back then.
Wild. No, and that's why I like this article here. It's for a lot of us have probably heard this before, but like I said, I know a lot of our listeners, this might be the first time. So by erecting a facade of ridicule, the U.S. hoped to allay public alarm, reduce the possibility of the Soviet taking advantage of the UFO mass sightings for either psychological warfare or actual warfare purposes, reads the document.
It makes sense, right? Because if we're all afraid of aliens, then, a foreign power being like orchestrating a fake alien attack, and the whole populace freaks out. It's smart. I mean, it makes sense that they'd be worried that could happen.
Mm-hmm. No, it does make sense. And what a powerful weapon that would be. Yeah. You could freak out all the common people, like all your people would lose their minds. We've seen it. The report states that the cover-up also allowed Project Blue Book to develop aircraft that emulated UFO performances, such as anti-gravity, which creates a force to counteract gravity and lets objects float or move without being pulled.
Yeah. You know what always threw me is they actually can do anti-gravity hover stuff. Like right now, we can do it.
Oh, yeah.
It involves like very cold temperatures and magnets, but we can straight up make things float and hover with that.
Yeah. I honestly believe that we've got way more than we know.
Well, they always say that anything technology-wise we have, assume the military is like 20 years ahead.
Can you imagine that? Just in how fast everything's progressed already?
Yeah. I mean, I can, because if you think about it, in Terminator 2, they have a drone. They have a straight-up drone flying around shooting people, and it is an AI drone controlled by Skynet. And this is before, anyone was thinking about drones as being like, oh, I have a hobby. Look at my drone. Yeah. And that was 20 years. So it makes sense if the military had it, that it was in a movie, because James Cameron probably talked to the military. They cooperate a lot in Hollywood with military people. I'm just saying that's my theory. Anything in a sci-fi movie you see now might totally exist in 20 years.
I think it's a very sound theory, Joe. I agree full-heartedly. I believe that reverse engineered alien technology, God knows what technology, they'll never tell us, because why would they show their hand?
Well, it's just the simple fact of how much we've evolved in 100 years of technology. We went from the train to going on the moon in 60 years, roughly. So the fact that we did that in such leaps really lends credence to the idea that alien spaceships or any advanced technology fell into the hands and is being reverse engineered since.
And I think it's also a proponent to just how fast the human mind can adapt and grow as technology grows. Did you know that people were afraid to get on trains that started going fast because there was a serious belief at the time that if the human body were to go beyond 35 miles per hour, that it would explode? I'm not kidding. That was a total tall tale that everyone believed when fast trains were coming out for the first time.
I heard die, but I never heard explode. I love that. I want to do a weird short film where people believe that, and then we start the train and everyone starts popping like balloons.
It's like, okay, yeah, dude, and just have it be like,
they were right,
and just have the announcer like, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to reach exponential speeds, which has exceeded all of the records, and everything will be just fine. We're about to reach 35 miles per hour.
Yeah.
And then okay, here we go. Oh my God! What's happening?
Blood hitting the window. For some reason, the dog isn't affected, so you get a little kid holding a dog and it's barking, and then the dog gets hit with a bunch of kid blood.
Yeah, just the dog just keeps getting splattered with gore.
The inside of we show the outside of the train, just all shotguns of blood just hitting the window.
Just chunks raining down.
Oh no.
Oh, man.
That would be weird, Ryan.
That would be weird, Joe.
Some things in life are weird.
Real world weird.
Which brings us to our next segment.
Real world weird.
The true blue story of Paul Carrison. This comes to us from NBCnews.com. One can't help but wonder if the Blue Man Group is feeling threatened. Sure, they have a good thing going with their sold-out shows, but when the men go home at night, they strip off their blue latex and they become just like everyone else.
Losers.
Users. Not so for Paul Carrison. He's blue for real. Permanently, deeply, completely, Violet Beauregard post Willy Wonka blue.
Very blue. Not sad, ironically, though.
He's so hardcore blue that NBC's Dr. Nancy Sinderman speculates that even his organs are blue. Take that, Blue Man Group. The 57-year-old from Madera, California, says he's started turning blue a decade ago after he tried treating a skin condition on his face with a silver preparation. He's also been drinking colloidal silver.
Yeah, as one does.
Which is silver in a liquid suspension for about 14 years, he says.
Well, that'll do it.
Before the invention of penicillin in the 1930s, colloidal silver was commonly used by doctors as an antibiotic. But then again, medical professionals used to think the best way to get rid of a headache was to drill a hole in the skull.
To be fair, I did it, and it did work. Now, granted, I keep having like this weird whistling sound anytime the wind blows by, and I'm not wearing a hat. But I did get rid of my headache.
You hear something?
I'm sorry. That's just my skull whistle.
Oh, dang. It's pretty. We're gonna have to fix that. We're gonna put some tape over that. That's coming up in the mics, dude.
Oh shit.
So, anyways, in 1999, the FDA banned the use of colloidal silver in over-the-counter drugs. The problem, you see, is that it can collect in the skin and organs and cause severe damage. But it's still sold as a supplement. Websites also offer manuals telling people how to make their own. That's just what Carrison did. And he ended up as a walking cautionary tale, if ever there was one. I have seen this man before. He is blue as hell.
Yeah, it is. It's like a silvery kind of metallic blue. If you Google his name, you could check it out. It's strange, but it's also kind of fun.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. And he's honestly very proud of it. So, yeah.
He's like, you know what? Nailed it. Nailed life, buddy.
That's right. I honestly think he did nail it. Remember how your mom used to warn you not to cross your eyes or they'd stay that way, Joe? Sometimes there's something to that. Carrison says...
Sorry, my mom wasn't a shitty mother. She actually just told me the truth. But continue.
Carrison says he's still drinking the stuff with no plans to stop or go to a doctor for that matter.
Well, why stop? If it's permanent, might as well keep drinking.
That's what it says. Even if he quit today, he's stuck being blue, says Sinderman. Argria, the condition he has, is permanent. People call him Papa Smurf, he says.
As one does.
He seems resigned to his hue and credits the colloidal silver for helping ease his arthritis and dissipate his acid reflux.
Oh, so there is a plus side.
I guess you could just take, acid reflux medicine, but sure.
Oh, God,
silver.
don't. No, dude. I took so many Tums and just in my life that I've had like 4 kidney stones. And I've actually missed an episode of this show because I had to go to the emergency room because of it. Dude, don't eat Tums. Don't eat too much calcium. Don't drink too much soda.
Ow.
Yeah, kidney stones are terrible. But you know what also is terrible? Being Papa Smurf. Actually, you know what? I just thought about.
He seems to like it.
I take it back because if you think about this, this guy can go to any comic book convention he wants, and all he has to do is wear a red beanie.
I was gonna say here he is, just wearing his little button up, just the
instant
little flannel
cosplay, bud.
That's right.
Huh.
So, still, it's a high price to pay for the amount of times he's undoubtedly been asked, "What's wrong? Feeling a little blue?" And he can only cheer for football teams of a certain color. Hey, go Lions!
Hey, there you go. Yeah, the Super Bowl would have been better if we were in it.
Dude, hands down. There's not an argument on the planet. because no one gave a shit because everyone's sick of the Chiefs, and there's honestly not that many Eagles fans, honestly, in my opinion.
Mark
But,
Wahlberg.
Yeah, I mean, okay, Mark Wahlberg. But anyways, but yeah, no. Everybody says like if the Lions that would have been amazing. Everyone would have watched. It would have been the biggest event of the year.
I will say that because the Philadelphia Eagles won, I'm very much looking forward to the next season of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh yeah.
Because the gang is gonna be happy about it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, the bar is gonna be covered in the merch. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be fun. But honestly, I think the star show was definitely the Puppy Bowl.
The Puppy Bowl.
I did watch the Puppy Bowl, and let me tell you, there was a sploot right in the beginning. There was a quick, like little 10-yard dash or something, and he went and he just splooted and just looked at the crowd.
I don't know what splooting is.
It's when a dog lays out and like puts its legs like all back, like full stretched out, their back legs. It's called the sploot.
Okay, see, I thought I was going for like he pooped or he peed or something like that. When you say
it was
like,
perfection.
The little puppy splooted, it sounds like he took a shit.
No, no, they cut that out. I haven't seen any shit in the Puppy Bowl yet, as far as I've watched. But
I think because of the type of show we are, we should give the Puppy Bowl as much talk time as we give the Super Bowl. Just saying.
I honestly watched the whole thing, and I was Team Fluff from the beginning, and they took it.
Is it Team Fluff and Team Rough?
That was it.
See, it's bullcrap because it's like the Harlem Globetrotters. It's like you're always facing the same teams, man. Give me something new.
But it's different players. There was a Pekingese. I think his name was Smooch or something like that, and he was amazing. He was so cute. And there was so many unnecessary roughness.
Oh, okay. This is stupid. We're done. I was gonna let it play out as long as you wanted, but then you started talking too much in earnest about your enjoyment of it.
It was good.
I watched it too, but that's because my kid was like, puppies, puppies.
So, he even made the Today Show.
All right,
Joe.
Oh, this blue man.
Yes. A few days before his appearance on the Today Show, Matt Lauer said Carrison told him, it's not about what you look like. It's your character. Well spoken from a man showing his true colors.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Blue Man.
Blue Man.
So, that was a story about a man. Yeah, don't drink silver.
Don't drink silver is kind of the gist there.
Let's not do that. And while we're at it, if you have a white dog, don't let them drink from a metal bowl because that's how they get those brown stains underneath their eyes and their teeth and all that. Like whenever you see like a white dog, it's because they drink from a metal bowl.
Oh my God.
It's the same thing.
Well, don't put your dog on a train going over 35 miles an hour or you'll get covered in blood, and don't have a dog drink out of a metal bowl or he'll have black stains on his teeth.
Plastic works just fine, or ceramic.
Wow. That was a cat.
It was.
Cats do explode at 35 miles an hour.
Yeah, that is proven. That's actually proven.
Science.
Earthling Entertainment special report. 1. Miles Teller to play Italian cyclist turned World War II hero Gino Bartali in new film. 2. Travis Knight's live-action Masters of the Universe movie from Amazon MGM Studios in Mattel has added Morena Baccarin in the role of the Sorceress. 3. Kristen Wiig and Bill Murray to star in comedy Epiphany from Palm Springs director. This has been an Earthling Entertainment special report.
Calling all comic fans, it's time to feed your brain at Green Brain Comics, where the freshest new issues, graphic novels, and manga hit the shelves every week. Whether you're looking for the hottest new series or the latest small press sensation, we've got it all. Every genre for every age, Green Brain Comics is your one-stop shop for all things graphic storytelling. Got questions? Our friendly staff knows their stuff. Whether you're a longtime fan or new to the world of comics, we've got recommendations that'll keep you coming back for more. And don't forget to check out our special events. Green Brain Comics is not just a store, it's a community. Located in East Downtown Dearborn, we are at Green Brain Comics on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Shop online at greenbraincomics.com, and remember to feed your brain at Green Brain Comics.
It's true, you made it through to the second half of the show.
So Ryan, did you end up seeing? They did another Lego movie, except this time it was the life of Pharrell Williams. It was kind of like they did a documentary and then they animated it with Legos. Did you see that one?
I saw the preview for it in theater, so like I saw like the big, preview for it, and it looked awesome.
It was pretty good. I got it and I enjoyed it. But apparently that wasn't all smooth sailing because the movie didn't do very well financially. Did you know
I
that?
know. No, I didn't know that, but I knew it had to be expensive.
I don't know how expensive it is to do animation, but
I mean, from like doing the whole Lego thing, like they did it as hardcore as like the Lego movie, and I know that wasn't cheap.
well, it was definitely a fun ride despite how financially unsuccessful it was. But it looks like it may have caused a little bit of a hiccup for Pharrell Williams.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about on this week's.
Music Mumbles.
Pharrell Williams scraps his movie musical at Universal in post-production. This comes to us from Variety.com. A star-studded movie musical about the childhood of Pharrell Williams has been permanently shelved and will not be released in any capacity. The project is titled Golden, and it was set for wide theatrical release from Universal Pictures on May 5th, so that was pretty soon.
Yeah, so it's late in the game to just stop.
Yeah. It boasts a heavyweight cast of chart toppers and an Oscar winner. Universal set up and financed the effort as part of their long-standing creative partnership with Williams, who is notably a composer and performer for the blockbuster Despicable Me franchise. Okay, so I do know that's the one song I know.
Yeah, you know what else he did? This will blow your mind. He did ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I'm loving it.
Nice.
He did the McDonald's jingle.
I hope they paid him well.
I think he got paid pretty well for that one.
So multiple sources told Variety that the project was shut down after unanimous agreement from producers and Gondry that the film did not live up to its developed concept. When all of us got into the editing room, we collectively decided that there wasn't a path forward to tell this version of the story that we originally envisioned. Williams and Gondry told Variety in a joint statement. We appreciate all the hard work of the talented cast and crew. While we're disappointed we can't deliver this film, we have incredible partners at Universal and will collaborate in a different capacity again soon. Sources familiar with the situation said Universal will absorb roughly $20 million in costs already spent on production. The studio had no comment on the matter beyond the statement from Williams and Gondry. What is known is that the film was in early post-production, meaning it will never be finished, but everyone involved has been paid for work completed. That's good.
I mean, that is good, right? Because a lot of those, I always found this weird. So I moved to Los Angeles and I was like, I'm going to be movies and I love the passion of film and storytelling is all I care about. Well, I had a friend, a mutual friend actually, Jeremy. Well, he went
Yeah.
out there and he became a set lighting crew guy, and he's worked on a lot of things. He worked on the Hateful Eight, and, Ninja Turtles, like a bunch of stuff. But for him, it really is just a job. It was like he might as well be. I mean, he's basically an electrician, but on set. But he might as well be like just got to fix an air conditioner today. Like it was just as exciting for him to do that as it was to brag about the movies for me. My only point is, maybe that is just kind of the same way for a lot of crew people, which honestly it is in my experience. And as long as everyone got paid, there's really no bad blood as far as the crew and cast. Most people are like, all right, every one of us has done projects that have never seen the light of day.
Well, and we've seen it happen a lot recently with, wasn't it Catgirl or whatever, Catwoman?
Batgirl.
Batgirl,
That was a completely different scenario. Batgirl was not released because Warner Brothers decided to basically say that it was a failure and used it as like a tax write-off.
Right. And
whereas this one, they're just not releasing it.
I guess the only reason I bring it up is I saw Brendan Fraser talking about it. He was the bad guy.
Yeah, he was
In that-
Firefly. In the
Yeah,
Batgirl
he
movie.
was the villain, and he was just like, it was a great movie. He's like, we got to see it. It was finished.
I mean, most people say that it was not a great movie. I don't know anything about the Batgirl movie. I personally didn't see it, but I kind of respect
They
Pharrell.
didn't release it at all
They didn't. No, and they can't. They
Yeah.
cannot ever legally release it.
because
They could. They,
tax write-off.
exactly. If they do, then they owe the money for that they got for the
Mhm.
tax write-off. But as far as this Pharrell Williams film, I would say if you watch the first half hour of the Lego movie piece by piece, you will know what the musical was essentially about because it's covering his childhood.
Yeah.
And his childhood kind of culminates in a school talent show where a famous record guy saw it and kind of gave him their first shot, which I assume would have been the climax of that film.
I assume as well.
But you got to give him credit for saying, like, watching it and be like, no, dude, this sucks. Like, we can't release this.
No, you're right. You're right. That takes a lot of that's got to be hard to do.
Yeah. Well, especially since, I mean, they think Universal, if they're continuing to work with Pharrell because they have him like on the payroll, they think that he's going to produce more good stuff than it costs them to keep him on. Because like 20 million's nothing to turn your nose up to. He lost him $20 million.
Yeah.
So thank God.
And whatever you said they lost, sorry to interrupt, on the first movie, on the Lego, movie that he did, you said didn't do well.
Well,
so.
the Despicable Me franchise, which he is a part of, has done billions.
Exponentially
So it's
well,
all about like, are you making me more money here than you are losing me here? I guess.
Mm-hmm. No, I see that too, and it's like, yeah, like I said, that takes a lot to do that. That's got to really hurt.
It's gotta hurt. It's just it hurts. They say kill your babies sometimes. You know what I mean? Like sometimes things just have to die. It's tough. But in this world, things die. People die. Everything dies. Which brings us to our next topic.
Remember that guy? Remember that gal? Well, now they're dead.
Day of the Dead actor Anthony DeLeo Jr. has passed away. This comes to us from BloodyDisgusting.com. Day of the Dead actor Anthony DeLeo Jr. has passed away on Friday night due to complications from COVID.
That sucks. You haven't heard that in a while.
I haven't heard that in a while. A frequent collaborator of George A. Romero, DeLeo played Private Miguel Salazar in the 1985 zombie classic. In addition to appearing in Knight Riders, Monkey Shines, and Two Evil Eyes, sometimes credited as Tim DeLeo or Antone DeLeo, the actor also played a zombie and worked as a production assistant on Tom Savini's remake of Night of the Living Dead, which Romero produced.
Yeah, interesting story with that. They had Tom Savini remake it because they were trying to reestablish the rights to Night of the Living Dead. Because when Night of the Living Dead was originally released, the people who printed it and released it literally forgot to put a little trademark symbol. So because of that, it's in public domain.
Oops.
So zombies were created essentially by Romero, and he never saw a cent for it.
I did hear that.
Yeah.
I did hear that.
Well, so them doing the 90s movie, like I said, was their attempt to try to establish a copyright on Night of the Living Dead.
Makes sense. I got to see that guy.
But,
I didn't meet him, but I got to see him.
George A. Romero?
Yeah.
Or Tom Savini?
George A. Romero and Savini. I've seen them both.
Oh, love Savini. But this actor, he was in like all of George A. Romero's stuff, and I remember him a lot. The Day of the Dead films were great.
Mm-hmm. No,
I should say film. Excuse me.
Yeah. So it is said, it is with great sadness that I let you all know that my dear friend and colleague Anthony DeLeo passed away last night from COVID. DeLeo's Day of the Dead co-star Lori Cardiel shared on Facebook. Tim was filled with love for nature, his beloved animals, family and friends and fans. He made me laugh every day while making Day of the Dead. Tim was an accomplished pianist with a beautiful voice. I will miss you, Tim. My heart is broken. I love you, friend. Our condolences go out to DeLeo's family, friends, and fans. Rest in peace.
That did seem like a very heartfelt. Like she really, I believed that by her words that she was very.
I'm not gonna lie, that was hard to read.
Chokes you up.
That was a little
man.
hard to read.
You just hope that when you go, that there's at least one person who feels that way about you, right?
Yeah, that's a win.
That is a win.
That's a win.
You know what else is a win is that even though he is not a household name, this actor has done films that are in the zeitgeist enough to where, I mean, I don't know if all film will keep surviving, but the point is 50, 100 years from now, chances are Day of the Dead is still going to be preserved in some way. So in a way, so is he in his work.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, working with the legend himself.
Oh, man. Legends.
You know, all of them legends. Hell yeah.
You know, speaking of legends, we're going to jump into our last section of the show today, which is headlines. And it actually starts out with the return of one of the best legends out there. I know Ryan's excited.
The legendiest of the legends.
Like, if legends had legends about the legends, this would be the legend about that.
With a legend.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
On this week's, we're doing headlines, bro. Earthling Entertainment! Headlines!
Luke Skywalker is finally coming to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland.
Yay!
This comes to us from Nerdist.com. Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland and Walt Disney World is a Star Wars dream come true in many ways. It certainly is. But one thing about it that no one is happy with is the fixed timeline to the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, like Galaxy Edge, the park, it's all set in the Disney era of movies. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So we got a lot of Rey and a lot of Kylo, and that's about it.
I actually had a really fun interaction with the stormtroopers. I think I sent you a video.
You did send me
I
video.
got to go to Disneyland on a whim, y'all. Like just because my girlfriend's a flight attendant, so I get to fly and stay for free. So we're like, let's go to Disneyland. So we went, and yes, I got to. It was so fun. We got to.
No, tell what was the interaction.
And so they came up to me, and I just went full Star Wars on them, and I was just like, nothing wrong with a little order, because I know that's the first order, that's their thing.
Yeah.
And literally, this actor loved me, and I tried walking away because like kids were coming up, and he was like, no. Like he came over and he grabbed my shoulder.
You can play along, sir, so you're
Like,
gonna do it.
He literally grabbed my shoulder and physically turned me so I could look back at him, and I'm smiling. I got this all on camera, and he's just like trying so hard to like work with me, and I was doing my best, and then I could tell his part, and then I was wearing
That guy's like, finally, an improver.
and for some reason I was wearing it was a joke because my brother always said when I have sunglasses with a beard and my long hair that's blonde, I look like Dog the Bounty Hunter. So I'm wearing a Dog the Bounty Hunter shirt that my brother got me at Disneyland, and it says Taylor Swift under it, just for no reason, just
because it's a silly shirt.
just a silly shirt. And like literally one of their handlers, a person who's like dressed as like an officer, who obviously is probably either working like the audio or something like that for them, because they can't speak, the stormtroopers. They have all these pre-recorded responses. And literally they looked at me. She looked at me. She was like, "What is that shirt, commoner?" or whatever. And I went to say something. And the other one that wasn't even messing with me went, "That is none of your concern. Leave this citizen alone." And I was like, "Thank you, sir." And I was just like, dude, it was just
All
great.
hail the First Order.
Like, so
I mean, Disney World goes all out with their parks.
and I always say that's the magic. Like, yeah, of course the rides are great. Blah blah
It's
blah.
it might cost you an arm, foot, and a leg. You might be in the poorhouse after visiting Disney World for even an hour, but isn't it worth it?
I'm telling you, the one thing though is if you're into shit like this, like I am with Star Wars, it's the magic. It like to me, that's the magic of Disney World, Disneyland, are these poor, hungry, tired cast members who probably aren't making enough for what they're doing and going through every single day, all day long in these crowded and dude, and they deliver. Like how hard they like deliver. And so
They're actors. The actors. You know, I don't
Yes.
know if you know this, but my cousin is one of the actors. She
yeah,
got it easy though. Her name is Gina, and she got it easy because she did Belle. So
Wow.
yeah, so she's Belle, like, and it's a big deal, obviously, because that's one of the Disney princesses. But
Yeah.
I imagine it's a lot easier than being in the Florida heat with like a bunch of plastic helmets
Yeah.
on.
No, yeah, got it way better. I even, I ran into Din Djarin. He had Grogu. It was cool. Like, and it was so realistic looking. Like, I saw R2. I saw Chewbacca.
I still haven't seen Galaxy's Edge. I was never going to be able to afford their like $3,000 a night hotel, but I was so bummed that thing crashed and burned. Like basically they opened it and then 2 years later shut it down. I don't know if it was because it was too expensive or too
Yeah,
much money to
yeah.
maintain. Like people to
For-
maintain that much immersion, it just cost more than most people could afford.
I believe for a 4-person family for 2 nights, 3 days, I want to say was about $6,000 or more.
I mean, that's great, but the average person doesn't have that kind of money. Like,
and it's weird because the whole thing you're like enclosed because all the windows aren't windows. It's like you're on a spaceship. So all the windows are actually like
screens of
screens
space.
playing space. So it's like in a weird way, you're like paying that much money to be stuck inside for 3 days. It's weird.
Well, I'm sure they did what like casinos do and they just pump in oxygen and shit. They're like, here's the cinnamon cookie smell. Like, you're loving it.
Yeah.
Enjoy your immersion.
But yeah, I want to say that ran them back in the whole loss damn near $200 million by the loss of the Galaxy Hotel thing.
I mean, you know what's funny is that sounds preposterously like a lot of money, but they lose that on a film. You know, it's
Oops.
Disney. It's Disney. They make a bad Marvel movie, they lose $200 million.
we can do a tax write-off on that, right? So
You know what's so funny is we do that, and that is South
that
Park's
is the South
that
Park.
is South Park's version of Mickey. I don't think I've ever actually like watched Mickey where he was like, ha ha.
The new Mickey cartoons remind me of Ren and Stimpy. Obviously
Oh,
not as morbid and
no.
gross.
Yeah,
But like
how do
they have very like abrupt and like abrasive humor that reminds me of Ren and Stimpy. It's not gross.
abrupt and abrasive humor.
That is the best way I could put it. Is it's so weird. It's so like, I love wildlife. I love wildlife. Like he's like just like them like being.
That
out,
sounds neurotic.
like they're crazy. Like yeah. Like honestly. Like yeah. The new Mickey Mouse cartoons are wild. But anyways, no, I couldn't
Once
help
again, guys, like I said last episode, this show could be called ADD, the podcast.
So this comes back to Luke Skywalker is finally coming to the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland. So now that we're not sequel haters here, we are not. We do love that. We do love the new movies.
I think the trilogy that Disney made is a great set of 3 movies that in of themselves, with the logic issues of Rise of Skywalker aside, are fine and they're fun adventures. But as a cohesive trilogy, they failed. They
Yeah.
do not connect as a trilogy. They are 3 sequels.
It was a swing and a miss on many points, but all in all,
I could have fun with them.
if you're a Star Wars fan, you know what I mean. If you're a Star Wars fan, you know you got to take what you get sometimes.
You know, some people take this too seriously. The
Yeah.
bottom line is Star Wars, whether you like it or not, has some of the most toxic fans out there.
I mean, yeah. So what we're saying, we love seeing Rey.
Ryan keeps trying to get back to the article.
Oh, my bad. Well, dude, we've literally gotten only like 3 sentences in.
That's fine. Fine, Ryan, read your article.
We love seeing Rey and Kylo Ren in the land. But what about characters from the other 2 trilogies? Part guests really want to see them too. And I want to see new Star Wars helmets that are from the original trilogy. I'm sick of the same old from Mandalorian and the new movies.
The problem with the Mandalorian helmets is they all have this same kind of aesthetic.
It's not that different.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you can only get so many. There's a reason why the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have different color headbands, and that's to sell toys, because in the original comic, they were all supposed to be red.
Yep.
But if you're going to differentiate between the heroes, you need something more than the weapons, because the weapons can be lost. So,
It's like, how can you tell that's Raphael? His index finger is sticking out slightly more.
yeah, so exactly. So they make colors, and then you have different things. But at the end of the day, you're still just buying a Ninja Turtle. It's the same thing. And that's the problem with Mandalorians, is you got a Mandalorian. He might have different helmet. It might be painted different. He might have a different jetpack. But at the end of the day, you get 10 Mandalorians, set them up in a row, ask somebody who's not like fluent in Star Wars. They're going to be like, yeah, it's a bunch of soldiers.
At
They
the
look
end of the
same.
day, this is the way.
Is that like a Mandalorian musical?
It is now. It's
Excellent.
a mixture of Les Mis and The Mandalorian.
Okay, all right. Le
So,
Mandalorian.
well, according to Disney Parks X account, it looks like Luke Skywalker is officially coming to Galaxy's Edge. The official account teased Luke's arrival in a post on social media. The follow-up post mentioned Season of the Force, a Disneyland-only promotion. So maybe Luke won't come to Orlando, just Anaheim.
Well, they're probably just testing the waters. That's how it does. You know,
Yeah,
hey, it worked there. We'll do it the other park later.
I saw their teaser. This very much looks like the Luke Skywalker in his Return of the Jedi robes, with his trusted astromech R2-D2 by his side. R2 does occasionally stroll through Galaxy's Edge. I saw him. Although, to be fair, he is a character who covers the entire Skywalker saga. This Luke appears to be the one we met in season 2, that's what I was going to say, of The Mandalorian, when he answers Grogu's Force call. True, we've seen other non-sequel trilogy characters in Galaxy's Edge over the last few years.
Bring us Jar Jar Binks, you cowards.
Thank you.
I want some guy on some freaking
Someone said it.
stilts. We need some Binks.
We need some Binks.
Justice for Binks. Hashtag.
That was so bad.
Yeah, it was a bit of Yoda. I'm not a impressionist, Mr. Frank Caliendo over here.
Yosa.
Okay, that was pretty good.
So,
All right, you know what? Fuck you, Ryan. I'm a writer, not a performer. You're the monkey. What are you doing?
perform for me.
Dance, you son of a bitch. Dance.
So, we have seen other trilogy characters in Galaxy's Edge over the years, like Ahsoka, Sabine, Boba Fett, and Mandu and Grogu. But they're usually tie-ins to promote a Disney Plus series.
Or a beverage. Have you heard of Mochaccino the Jedi?
I have not.
Well, let me tell you, they're frappagilicious. Sponsored by Big B, I guess. Fuck
It
Starbucks.
gives you 12 parsecs of wings.
You know, we don't always land the jokes,
we
but
don't.
but you commit, you try.
Goddamn right. That's right. Characters from the other Star Wars trilogies have been famously absent. This looks to all...
You know what we really need? Dax.
Yeah.
Dax from the diner. Think about it. It was in
Porkins.
It was in, no. I'm serious. It was in episode 2, man.
I know.
And we had what was it, Obi-Wan show up to like this Coruscantian diner
In
and
the
it was
middle
like,
of there's
it was
just a
1950s
50s style diner.
Why wouldn't you have that 1950s diner in
don't
Galaxy's
know.
Edge? Walk up, be like, you don't even have to have Dax. He's probably dead, right? So you just have like Dax's son and have a picture of Dax on the wall.
And there is so much backstory that we were never given, because do you see that smile on Obi-Wan's face when he sees him? Like, it's
we
almost
had
like,
some drunken nights, you son of a bitch.
I think there might have been some experimentation. That might
I
have
was
happened.
just gonna go with college roommate.
I'm just throwing it out there that, he was like a little giddy when he saw him.
He walks up and be like,
See,
you know, you're my Obi-Wan.
that's right. The Obi-Wan for me.
My
Obi-Wan.
God. Yeah, no, that's the end of that. But I have nowhere to go with that joke. That was your trade, buddy.
So this looks to all change with Luke's arrival. Does this mean we will finally see Han, Leia, and Darth Vader himself? What about Obi-Wan and Queen Amidala? Disney does have the costumes on hand. They tend to bring them out on special event nights like Star Wars, Disneyland, After Dark Night. But shouldn't they always be in Galaxy's Edge? I guess, they're trying to keep up with like younger kids, but I mean, I don't know. As long as Phantom Menace era Anakin isn't standing around next to Darth Vader, we think it's high time the entire film saga was represented.
All jokes aside, I really do think that the entire film saga should be represented, because the most, like, people want to see, there are just as many like diehard Star Wars fans from the original trilogy that just want to see Luke Skywalker and all them when they go, as there are new kids who want to see the new stuff. So it just feels weird, because while I get it, you're pushing your era of Star Wars. So originally I imagined to continue to sell tickets to the new movies, but you are
not making these new movies.
You are leaving money on the table, but well, for sure.
Well, how shocked I was, that I never saw Darth Vader.
Well, it's
I thought
just
I'd see
weird,
him.
because that's a lot of Star Wars fans want to see that. They want to see the original.
Like, and I get it. Like you could do it in different times. You could have for the first half of the day, it's old era of Star Wars. For the last half of the day, it's the new.
Well, you know what they should have done? And this is storytelling. It would have been really easy to do, is you just say Galaxy's Edge actually exists in a weird planet that somehow is in the world between worlds. If it's in the world between worlds, all time is equal, bud.
I know there are books about galaxies, like it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Batu is where it's located, I believe, is the planet.
So we do know a lot of Star Wars stuff. I will say that. But hey, I think this is nothing but good news. Luke Skywalker and Galaxy's Edge should have happened sooner.
Yeah, it really should have, and but hopefully with them doing that, but obviously this is still the new era because they're doing the Luke that that was the promo was how we saw him represented in the flashback when everything was burning down after his conflict with Kylo Ren.
You're right.
Where he put his hand
they
on
definitely are not backtracking at all
Yeah.
with the era of what Galaxy's Edge is. But
Correct.
hey, what do you guys think? Do you have an opinion on Star Wars or Galaxy's Edge or what they might want to do? You could always hit us up on the Facebook or on the Facebook. Or you could email us at earthlingentertainmentpodcast@gmail.com.
Probably the best way.
Probably the best way. But guys, you know what that means? It means we have another headline coming up. I hope you're ready for it. Headline number 2.
It's a punk revival. A Green Day movie is on the way. This comes to us from Collider.com. Calling all basket cases, it's a pop punk revival.
Woo!
A Green Day movie
Actually,
is...
I hate the term pop punk, but continue.
I don't consider them pop punk.
No, they're just punk.
Yeah.
I mean, they're lighter punk, they're soft punk, they're diet punk, but they're still punk.
Pop punk is like, I don't know, Simple
Charlotte.
Plan. Yeah, like
Yeah.
stuff like that, yeah. A Green Day movie is officially in production, titled New Year's Rev. Weird name. The comedy is set to be inspired and developed by the musical legends themselves. Produced by Live Nation Productions, the film is written and directed by Ordinary World's Lee Kirk and will unpack the coming-of-age tale of 3 friends who make a trek to Los Angeles after they come under the misunderstanding that their band is set to open for Green Day in an epic New Year's Eve performance per Variety. I have read about this.
And that actually makes perfect sense because Green Day is going to be the producers, right? So they're like, and we'll cameo at the end. It's
Yep.
like Detroit Rock City when you got Kiss at the end. Beautiful.
I swear I read about this like a while ago. So
Well, yeah, movies take a while to develop.
Yeah. According to the publication, the trio's road trip is set to indulge audiences in all the shenanigans anyone could expect from a group of teens with a big dream. Their road trip is a rowdy and mischievous jaunt across the country filled with adventures based on the exploits of Green Day and their years of living in a tour van, they teased. This is expected to pull on the group's personal experiences of touring from a young age as they catapulted to fame in the 90s when they, Billy Joe Armstrong, Mike Dirnt, and Trey Cool were all just teenagers. Lead singer for the group, Armstrong, reminisced in a statement, "Band days rule. You will drive all night on no sleep and then play a show for 10 kids in a basement of a friend's house 50 miles east of anywhere you've never heard of. But you'll do it again the next day and the one after that because you're doing it with your bandmates who have become your family. And it's unlike anything you've ever known. It's electric. Let the music and mischief ensue."
Ooh, quite an endorsement.
The movie is set to mark an exciting moment for the group, who are largely credited with the revival of pop punk. I don't know. I guess, well, with their later stuff,
I would just
walk
consider them
lonely street on a boat.
Yes,
That
they
was
got
my-
a little bit more
Yeah.
poppy as time went on.
Yeah.
But I still hold Dookie close to my heart.
Same here. That, Nimrod, you know what I mean? All those albums, because, that was, to me, that was just American punk.
Yeah, you know what's funny though is American Idiot. I didn't get the message they were trying to give at the time. I remember getting pissed off. I was just
That
like,
album almost ruined them.
I was not happy with the beat. I was like, I'm not an American Idiot, dude. I was 14. I guarantee I was an idiot.
Oh yeah. No, honestly, that album almost ruined. I'm honestly a pretty big Green Day fan, and honestly, that album, it did
The
so
controversy. Of
it did
people
so
getting pissed off.
poorly
Yeah.
that they almost quit, and then they subsequently kept going, and obviously, it's going well for them. So it says here that they were largely credited with the revival of pop punk, making it more accessible to the mainstream than it ever had been before. Tapping into the landscape at the time, Green Day was celebrated for touching on the anxiety, anger, and frustration as a result of political unrest during that period. They were also able to draw on their angsty youth, making them even more accessible for the average teen who felt helpless to the happenings at the time.
Teens love angst.
Their 2004 hit album American Idiot, which is funny because I just said that almost ruined them, because that's what I knew anyway. Maybe I could be wrong. Encapsulated this sentiment perfectly with the title track of the same name and songs like what I just did, Boulevard of Broken Dreams. And it is still widely hailed for capturing a feeling that many can still relate to today. Productions for New Year's Rev is currently underway in Oklahoma. A release date for the movie has not yet been revealed.
Well, dang. I will say that this is the kind of movie that I really enjoy, or I should say I used to really enjoy. There has been a lot of them recently. I'm reminded of, there's a 2003 movie that I've referenced a few times because I think it's funny that one, most people have never heard of it, and two, it flopped and no one cares, and I just love it so much. It was a film about skateboarding called Grind. And in 2003, when this film came out, Adam Brody's in it, by the way. Just saying, he just won an award for a show he did on Netflix. So,
Oi.
yeah.
Yep.
But anyways, that's what they do. They go across the country. Any group of young people going across the country, road trip. They're just that kind of humor that really gets me because that's how I feel like we lived our lives when we were in our 20s. My buddy Caleb, stood up on my wedding. He did a movie called Highway to Havasu, and that was his little road trip movie. I just can't help it. I love the whole road trip thing.
I agree. No, and you hit the nail on the head with Road Trip. Of course, that's my road trip movie, like with Tom Green. I was a huge Tom Green fan at the time, still am. And you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah. It makes for hilarity. And
Did you know they made a sequel to Road Trip?
I did, yes.
I'm not talking about Euro Trip, which was more of a spinoff.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But no, with this movie though, it's I'm into it because they are saying that they're going to use a lot of stories from like when they were young, and I've seen videos of Green Day, exactly what they're saying, young as hell, playing in a backyard somewhere, like before, like around the time that they were playing all the hits that, just like you said, Dookie just became,
that was their first album, I believe, wasn't it?
Classic. I think there was one before then. Don't quote me on that. I want to say there was one before, and then it was Dookie.
But they've been friends forever. They started really young.
Yeah. So,
you know what? When you imagine, you look back at when you were young and think about if you did a band or did something that was just still something you did today. You know what I used to do when I was a kid? I played Pokemon cards.
Yep, I did too.
You know what else?
Play?
Yeah, they also. Did you ever play Magic?
I never did, but I loved the cards. They were so cool looking.
The art was beautiful, but it was just too complicated of a game for me at the time, and I didn't have like someone who could teach me it. And
it's expensive too.
It is expensive, but it's popular. It's one of the most popular games in the world. In fact, did you know our next headline is actually about Magic the Gathering?
Oh, let's jump right into it.
Well, let's.
Hasbro is summoning a live-action Magic the Gathering universe.
Finally.
This comes to us from TheVerge.com. Hasbro is teaming up with movie production company Legendary Entertainment to create...
Legendary does all the Godzilla stuff, so they do a lot of fantasy fun stuff. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. Continue.
No, not at all. To create a live-action film and TV universe based on Magic the Gathering. The project will initially focus on a currently untitled feature film, according to Hasbro's press release, with television series and other content then expected to follow as the cinematic universe develops. An animated TV series adaptation of Magic the Gathering is also already in development for Netflix.
I think it would lend itself well to animation because you don't have to worry so much about budget. I mean, Magic the Gathering, if you just look at the art on the cards, doing any of that in live action, like a movie makes sense, but a Game of Thrones type show might get exceedingly expensive. And the problem is a movie is made and it's expensive, and hopefully they make their money back, right? But if a show is made and it's expensive, they have to keep up such a high level of viewership that those kind of shows are so easily canceled and so quickly canceled that, like, if you have a fantasy or some kind of sci-fi show you really like, if it doesn't have the support, it's going to be gone. It'll be canceled in a season or two. So,
and a big part of the game, I know, is land. So terrain, you know what I mean? Like, you can do different terrains for what you're playing in, you know what I mean? So you're talking about like a wide range of for like a background. So like that would be so expensive.
It's expensive to CGI it, and it would be expensive to like shoot it in live action and have to fly to those places. It's expensive either way.
Right. Like I said, it's like half the game is the monsters and where you're at. Everything's crazy. So Hasbro acquired Magic the Gathering's parent company, Wizards of the Coast, in 1999. The trading card game is estimated to have over 50 million players worldwide and became the company's first brand to cross $1 billion in annual revenue in 2022. In fact, Magic the Gathering is one of its only IPs to reliably see revenue growth in spite of Hasbro's continued overall decline.
Just as a company, like their sales.
Right. And Hasbro is where I always buy all my Star Wars helmets. Hasbro Pulse makes the Black Series helmets.
Yeah, so maybe they should get more into that stuff, like less toys and more collectibles, or maybe just
Maybe.
have a hand in both. I don't know.
They do so many things that, like, you name it. Go to the Hasbro Pulse website, guys, and they do it all. Like Transformers, everything. There's so many things. G.I. Joe. They still make new G.I. Joe figures, which is wild to me.
I wonder how many new fans of G.I. Joe are out there.
I
It feels
don't
like
get
an
it.
older franchise, right? Like it was the baby boomers from World War II who like had the original ones. And then in the 80s, they were very popular.
They kind of
right?
sold it to us near the end there of the
But
80s.
I don't remember any kind of 90s G.I. Joe push. Really?
No, I just remember the funny spoofs
You know they made
of the PSAs at
Right,
the end
yeah.
of G.I. Joe.
Well, that was more of an internet meme thing than anything to do with actual G.I. Joe. You know
Too
they made
bad your
they
ass
made
got sad.
3 live action movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have. Yeah,
There was G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra, and then it was
Of course
G.I.
you know.
Joe Revolution. I don't know.
but still,
and
I
then
kid you-
hold on. Then there was another one. They had so many. All right, you made me lose my train of thought, but
But yeah,
I'm gonna blame it all on you.
that's okay. That's okay. So back to Hasbro. They are no stranger to adapting its brands for other entertainment avenues, as seen with TV shows and movies based on My Little Pony, Transformers,
Dude.
and G.I. Joe.
Make all the jokes you want. My Little Pony has a huge fan base. Do you remember Bronies?
Dude.
That's a thing still.
We don't want to piss off the bronies.
I'm not trying to
Yeah,
piss
I'm
off the
just
Bronies. More
saying.
power to you.
We love the brownies.
Yeah.
You don't want bronies on your bad side.
I didn't say anything negative. I was simply saying they exist.
I'm just kidding.
We look outside. There's a bunch of fucking guys in like horse outfits, like with weird. They gotta have like weapons, right? Like to
Mhm.
taunt us and to scare us, but they need to be appropriate to horse stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like those little whips, you whip a horse in the back during polo.
All
Yeah,
right. Well,
yeah.
don't threaten me with a good time. Anyways.
I was trying to create a scene here, man, but fine.
Oh, keep going. Keep going, Joe.
All right.
So,
Stick to Magic the Gathering, ass.
Legendary Entertainment does have some experience in this area as well, having produced feature films based on popular gaming franchises such as Warcraft and Pokemon Detective Pikachu.
Yeah. Side note, surprised they've never made another live action Pokemon movie except Detective Pikachu. Should have happened. I don't know.
They could have done it way better. Like all the animation was great, but the whole concept was weird.
I like Detective Pikachu. It was a direct adaptation of the game direct. I don't think you actually played.
No, I never played.
Yeah, see that's why. That is what the game was.
Okay, so yeah, no, I never played, but yeah, I don't know. It was good. Like animation was amazing. So this is an exciting and complementary partnership, uniting one of the world's most iconic brands with a powerful and proven steward. Magic the Gathering has inspired decades of epic world building and creative storytelling, said Hasbro Entertainment's head of film, Zev Foreman. It is a perfect match for Legendary's diversified approach to the marquee IP, and we are excited to work together and build a whole new Magic the Gathering universe.
I just don't like it when they announce universes. You know what I mean? If they were like, we're making a Magic the Gathering movie and, we might make some more stuff. Cool. But when they announce a universe, you're just setting yourself up for if you fail, you look like an asshole. Universal did.
It's true.
Well, Universal did this thing a while back. Do you remember the dark universe that they were going to do?
Mm-hmm.
So it was going to be all the Universal monsters coming together, and they casted everyone for future movies. Like there was Johnny Depp, there was Russell Crowe. They had just this whole Tom Cruise. They had the whole group of people, and they're like, he will be the Mummy, he will be the Invisible Man. I think Johnny Depp was going to be the Invisible Man, and it was all going to
Makes sense.
start with Tom Cruise's The Mummy. And this was going to be the first installment in this giant overall, monster universe.
Mhm.
And The Mummy flopped. And
Well-
what did they do? Instead of continuing with their plans, they put their tail between their legs and they canceled the entire universe. And they looked stupid.
They
There
should've-
was egg on their face.
They should have known better. They should have
Yeah.
known better because
Uh,
we couldn't let go of Brendan Fraser. I mean, the
I don't
Mummy
know if
was
that
already
was
perfected.
it. I don't know if that was it, man. The Mummy of Tom Cruise was not very good.
That was for me, but I mean, beats getting shot in the face.
Oh my God. Literally. You know who got shot in the face recently?
I don't know.
Well, let's jump into our next topic. Headline number 4.
Former Disney Channel star Christy Carlson Romano has been shot in the face.
Yeah, like for real.
This comes to us from entertainmentweekly.com. Former Disney actor Christy Carlson Romano, who starred in Disney Channel's Even Stevens from 2000 to 2003 as Ren Stevens and also voiced the title character in the animated show Kim Possible, just had a close call. The 40-year-old Even Stevens alum revealed on Instagram that she is recovering after being shot in the face while shooting clay pigeons with her husband, producer Brendan Rooney. Yesterday was my husband's birthday, and I took him to shoot clay pigeons as a present. There was another party with us, and they unsafely fired in the wrong direction and shot me in the face, she wrote on Saturday. She said Rooney immediately sprung into action, assessed me, and rushed me to the hospital. I was hit in 5 places. One was less than an inch from hitting me directly in my right eye. The Austin-based actress shared a video of her very visible injuries along with the written description of the incident on Instagram. The cadet Kelly Starr shared that she's not in the clear yet. Unfortunately, a fragment got lodged behind my eye, and it is too risky to remove surgically at this time. Doctors will continue to monitor me. I can see normally at the moment, she wrote. She ended the post with an optimistic note saying, with everything that happened, all I can think about is how grateful I am to be alive. I love my daughters, husband, family, and friends so much. I saw my life flash before my eyes, and I'm telling you, hug the people around you every chance you can. Life can change in an instant.
Oof. I mean, I ain't gonna make fun of that message. Obviously, that is true. Like tragedies happen. I saw all the images, and luckily, I don't mean this dramatically, but her face is still there. Like she looks okay. She has a black eye and kind of a hole under the eye.
Okay.
The idea of having shrapnel behind your eye that can't be surgically removed is horrifying.
That is absolutely not. Like, can we use a magnet?
I don't
Like,
know.
bring it up?
It's weird. And you know what? I was thinking of obviously no one wants to have an accident happen that results in them getting shot in the face. I mean, that's obvious. But can you imagine being the husband? Think about this. It's your birthday and your wife gets shot in the face.
Because some idiot who doesn't know how to properly handle their shotgun.
I know. You're never going to take him. Like, what do you want to do for your birthday? Stay home and be safe. Let's have DiGiorno pizza and ice cream. I don't want you. Stay away from the windows, honey.
And they were never the same again. From that moment on, they got delivery every day.
DiGiorno. Super Bowl commercial.
DiGiorno.
And that's how we bring the episode full circle, Ryan.
Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman.
Well, Morgan Freeman. Yeah.
Every time that Morgan Freeman narrates a documentary, he narrates it first. And then nature simply makes it so.
Haha, maybe he could do a documentary on this this thing that happened to her. Luckily, it was a shotgun, right? Because it's spread out.
Yeah. You know, only 5 pellets got her.
Well, when you hear I got shot in the face, isn't your first thought like, well, do you have a face?
Right. We've had a lot of funny afflictions of the face today. We got the blue-faced man. We got her getting shot in the face. This has been a fun one. This has been a fun episode, Joe.
It has been a very good episode. And thank you guys so much for listening because unfortunately that is the last headline of the day. And that brings us to the end of the show.
An elephant never forgets, Joe. With a serpent body. Doesn't forget.
That's not a smooth transition.
It worked well.
And you know what else isn't a smooth transition is asking our listeners to download the episode. Now, downloading this episode or any of our episodes, download them all. It's just the best way to support the show.
That's what's up.
It is. It is. If you guys want a bumper sticker, email us at earthlingentertainmentpodcast@gmail.com or you can message us on Facebook.
That's right. And your mission, my friends, should you choose to accept it, is to share this episode with a friend, with a coworker, with a loved one. Listen to us on your way to work, on your way back from work, and tell others to do the same because we're all Earthlings and we all want to keep this together. Please, like Joe said, email us at earthlingentertainmentpodcast@gmail.com if you have an experience with aliens, with the supernatural, if there's a story you've heard of that you want to bring up to us. Honestly, we would love to hear it, and if it works out, we will include it in the episode. So please email us, message us on Facebook. We love you guys. Follow us on TikTok, follow us on Instagram.
And for this episode, see ya.
Goodbye. Fluffy.